Hello everybody, welcome back to the studio. My name is Justin, and in this video, I'm going to show you my stropping block. So the humble stropping block is not exactly the sexiest of topics, but let me tell you, this is a very important tool in any leather shop, especially if you have edge tools. And you probably all have something like a Skiver knife, which needs to be maintained on a regular basis. Some of you may use a French edger, which also needs to be kept sharp for optimal performance. And everybody I know you use an edge beveler. And this one can sometimes be a little difficult to keep sharp, but with this and a bit of string and some honing compound, you can keep all these things performing perfectly so you don't screw up your pieces because your tools aren't sharp. And sharp tools are safe tools. So my sharpening block measures 4 inches across, 6 3/4 of an inch long, and 3/4 of an inch thick. These dimensions are completely arbitrary and they're based strictly around this piece of wood that I happen to have lying around. Stuck some leather to it, and here we are. Now, why do I actually think this is a good size versus one of those paint stir stick thin ones? Let me tell you, one is the thickness, is that it's nice and sturdy and it's raised off of the bench. The reason I like that is because it allows me to hold it firmly. So when I'm honing up my skiving knife, it gives me something to grab, hold on to, and pull against. Those thin ones, you have to hold kind of upright, lie it flat. I just find it awkward, so I like using a nice thicker block. Also, the width allows me to work the blade across its width. I don't have to stay in one spot. I can work across left to right, and then on the back, the height also gives me room to strop that back. My knuckles aren't hitting the bench. You've also may have noticed I have this little lip, this little punch out, whatever you call this little thing, extra piece of leather glued on top of there. That is the width of my French edger. So depending on which width you have, mine is 6 millimeters. Cut a piece of leather that is 5.5 millimeters wide, glue that on, and that allows me to strop the inside of my edger. It's nice and easy again with the thicker block. I can simply hold it down and then pull that edger across, sharpening the inside of it, and then doing the back is nice and easy. I can just run it across and then my edger is good to go. Lastly, my beveler can be stropped on the surface as normal, but then you can also come over to the edge of this little raised lip and using that corner to get right in to the edge of my beveler and get that inside piece, inside edge, I should say, nice and stropped. Alternatively, for the edger, we can use our trusty piece of thick thread. Use regular thread, any thickest thread you have that will fit inside of the edger. This thread is not waxed, so if you use a waxed thread, it may work. It's the question of whether it will hold the stropping compound. So I just take that, rub the thread across this compound, and then run this thread across the inside edge. And that keeps it nice and sharp. So that is how I use this stropping block and my string to keep all my edge tools nice and sharp. A few other details. The honing compound I use is a black, which is very good for not sharpening, but basically honing an edge. So this isn't going to remove material, but it will polish up an edge nicely. This is probably equivalent to maybe a 1,000 grit sandpaper. Maybe, that's a guess. You can get other compounds. Each color represents a different grit. You'll have to figure out which one you have. There's a green one, which I think is finer than this. I like the black. I find it works really well. Although I haven't tried any of the other colors, like the white or the red. I've tried green. I like the black, so I go with the black. But whatever one you have, I say just use that. It's probably going to work just as well. Another thing I want to mention that this can be used for is actually for sharpening. So if you get yourself a piece of sandpaper and you need to prep your French edger, let's say for the first time you've just got it, so you need to make sure that edge is nice and sharp, use your stropping block, wrap your sandpaper around that raised bit, and then run your edger right over top of it. That is going to sharpen that edge. This is the easiest way to sharpen your French edger, and do the same thing on the back. You can go through this with as many grits as you need depending on the condition of that edge, and then straight on to that stropping, charged up, get some fresh compound on there, front, back, and your edger is good to go. That is also why I really like this block, because it can be used for sharpening as well. If you really wanted to, you could actually use this with your sandpaper on the back and sharpen your skiving knife as well. I won't do that, but if you have limited space, limited tools, you could use this for sharpening as well. So the results of all of that work means a very sharp edge beveler, which should grab that leather and push, should dig right in and skive down that leather fairly easily. So it makes skiving out the inside of those T-pockets easy, easy, easy. Your beveler should take a single strand right off that edge on the front and the back of the leather. The fuzzy side is always the real test. And sometimes the back of the leather, if the fibers aren't tight enough, there's no way to get a single strand off of it. But if you have really nice finished back side of your veg tan, you should be able to pull a string off the back as well as the front. And then obviously a skiving knife should slice right through that leather with basically zero effort at all, and it slices right through fairly effortlessly. If you push it, you can push it as well. Slides right through. If you want to skive with it, it should just glide right through that leather with very little effort, making a nice clean, flat, even skive. In terms of the leather that I use for this one, it is always the flesh side up. Don't use the underside of the leather. It's softer, it's not as dense. If you're concerned about the honing compound not getting rubbed in, just take your time, get that surface completely covered. You may get some stuff falling off when you've done this for the first time, but as you can see, I managed to get it done. It's just use. You eventually get that compound worked into that nice flat surface of the leather, and then it's good to go after that. In terms of the type of leather, use I would suggest the firmest leather that you have. The firmer the leather, the better. It won't give in to the pressure when you're honing your skiving knife on here. The corners won't roll up. It'll resist it and create a nice flat surface. So you don't want to use a soft leather. Use a nice firm veg tan leather, as thick as you can get. This one is 4 mil thick, so it's actually not that thick. 4 mil. This one's about 4 mil, so it's not the thickest leather on the planet, but it's the thickest stuff I had. It was nice and firm. It's held its shape. So use what you got, because it's better to have this tool than not have it. If you don't have the ideal leather, that's fine. It's still going to get the job done. When you eventually get some nice, thick, firm leather, your strop will be even better. So, ladies and gentlemen, quick video. Leather strop, that's the one I use. This is the one I like. This is what I recommend. You don't need to buy anything fancy. You can make this from a block of wood, some scrap of leather, glue it down. I just use my regular, I think it was wood glue. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, let me know in the comment section below. Remember, I do have memberships now. So if you'd like to support my channel directly, you can hit the join button below. Also, be sure to check out the suppliers link below. 10% off Norfolk 10 at any of the suppliers listed below. If the code doesn't work at checkout, send them a quick email and they'll hook you up. Those are not affiliate links. The only affiliate link listed below is for Xtool products. I'm currently using the Xtool S1 20 watt. I absolutely freaking love it. The other affiliate link is with Lonsdale Leather, amazing group of people. Go check them out. They're in BC. They have a lot of great stuff. They are an affiliate link, so if you use those, I do get a small percentage that helps support the channel. It doesn't cost you anything extra. I'm getting more suppliers on board in the new year, bringing you guys discounts, offers, whatever the case may be, to help you guys out. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you in the next one.